Welcome to this installment of the WRHA Community Acuro Medications Management video. This video was developed by the WRHA CSIS team in coordination with EMR users. This video is meant as reference material regarding the functionality of the EMR. Examples provided during demonstration cover various workflows and should not replace any on-the-job instruction provided by on-site supervisors, managers, or directors. During this presentation, the following topics will be covered: renewing, reprinting, updating medication status, and deleting medications. Managing medications is best completed via the Medication tab as opposed to using the Active Medications band. Let's first review the parts of the Medication tab. Starting with the top column headers, Medications lists the formulation or manufactured name and dosage of the medications. The Comments field lists any internal comments registered on the prescriptions. These comments are not included in the printed version of the prescription and can be very useful if needing quick prompts regarding the client's medication. Start and end dates indicate the start date and end date of the current course of medication. Dose will be listed if the provider used the dosage calculating feature in lieu of listing the SIG and quantity when writing the prescription. Duration. This lists the amount of time in days or months that the medication will be taken for based on the start date. Refills lists the number of refills provided on the script, and status lists the current status of the medication. Unknown or active are the default statuses depending on if it is listed as an external medication or active medication. We will learn later in this demonstration how this status can be impacted. Last modified identifies the last time a medication was created or updated. Any of these items can be added or removed from the table using the graphic button on the right-hand side of the table. Ensure the checkmark is active on the items which you would like displayed. At the bottom of the medications table are the allergies. These can be updated and managed as required from this medications tab. For more information on updating the allergies, please see the allergies reference video. You can renew one or several medications by highlighting the medication and then using the right-click menu option. Medications can be renewed either from active medications or from recently active prescriptions. If wanting to review multiple medications at once, hold the Control key from your keyboard and highlight the medications. Once highlighted, right-click on the appropriate medication that is to be renewed and select the Renew option. If renewing from a medication that is not yet expired, the EMR will prompt to ask if the medication is being renewed from the expected date or from today's date. It is important to consider the question thoroughly. If the client is going to be renewing the medication at the pharmacy today, then the start date may be relevant and should be changed to today. If the client will not be filling the prescription until after the expiry date of the original prescription, feel free to use the future start date. Modifications can be applied to any dosage, SIG, or pharmacy instructions as required when renewing. If renewing multiples at once, navigating to the various prescriptions can be done by clicking on the medication from the list below. Once all medications are updated, select OK. Notice as well that the new prescription is in the Active Meds section of the tab, whereas the older prescription has moved to the Recently Active and holds the status of renewed. Reprinting of a medication may be required if a client has lost the prescription or possibly if it needs to be faxed to the pharmacist again. In these situations, a reprint can be completed by the provider themselves or by an admin support role. To reprint a prescription, highlight the prescription, then select Print using the prescription button at the bottom of the screen, or right-clicking and selecting the print/fax directly on the highlighted medication. Using the print/fax option also provides the opportunity to fax a prescription in the situation where some clinics are using electronic signatures. Please check with your site medical lead to determine if your clinic is using electronic signatures. Providers have the ability within the EMR to change the status of a medication. For example, if the medication is to be put on hold or discontinued, the EMR allows for management while still retaining the record that the client had the medication prescribed at some point during their care. In order to change the status of a medication, highlight the medication and right-click to reveal the status options. Select the change status, then determine which status will apply to your particular situation. Hold prescription may be used if wanting a client to discontinue a particular medication for a trial period. This medication will remain in the hold status until the provider chooses to release the prescription. Discontinue prescription will remove the script from the active medications list and reassign it to the recently active section. This also provides access to any comments that may have been included during the discontinuation using the hover tool. Inactive. We encourage providers to use the more descriptive status of hold and discontinue in lieu of using the inactive only status. Recently active. This identifies that the medication was active within the last 30 days. Any comments that are applied to a status change are visible within the updated prescription. In order to view the status comments for this discontinued medication, I will double-click on the medication. Select the history icon and access the more comprehensive explanation of the change in the status. If a medication is placed on hold and the provider determines the status should be updated to active, this can be completed by right-clicking on the hold status medication and selecting Release Prescription. This prescription will be released into the client's active medications since you have advised the client to return to their course of medication. If the medication dosage needs to be updated, use the Edit SIG function. To edit the SIG or dosage of a medication, right-click and select Edit SIG. If adjustments are required for the SIG or if adjusting the dosage, use the pencil button. Within the window, update the medication and select OK to reprint the prescription. On the prescription, you will notice the description modified Rx adjacent to the prescription. If an error is made on a prescription and the error is caught immediately, there are situations where it is best to delete the prescription and rewrite another. To delete the prescription, double-click on the medication to be removed. In the upper left-hand corner of the window, select the medication to remove. Right-click and select Cancel Prescription. You will be prompted asking, do you really want to cancel this prescription? In this case, we will say yes. Notice that the prescription has now been removed from the list. If the prescription was not discovered with the error within 24 hours, using this function will not work. If you would like to add comments instead of using the delete feature, you will need to use the change status feature as discussed earlier. Please note when canceling prescriptions, there is no opportunity to add any additional comments. At the bottom of the Medications tab are several icons. Prescription Summary will provide a printable version of the medications currently active, inactive, or other for this client. We have already demonstrated the Print Prescription icon, which allows for reprinting of created prescriptions. The New Prescription and New Compound Prescription icons allows users to create new prescriptions or compound prescriptions from this Medications tab. New External Medications allows you to list an external medication taken by the client, including prescriptions or over-the-counter medications. And finally, Favorites allows a provider to save and write prescriptions from their own personal list. For example, a medication that I have already entered, by double-clicking and opening the prescription, I am able to select the prescription itself in the upper left-hand corner, and by clicking the Favorites star on the bottom right of my screen, this will allow me to save my prescription as a favorite. Once selecting OK, this will save the prescription along with the dosage as a favorite in my account. By now selecting the Favorites tab, you will notice that the lorazepam prescription that I had just entered is now visible from my favorite prescription section. By checking the box off and saying Apply and Print, this will print off a new prescription, keeping all my favorite selections and applying it to the prescription. For more information on compound medications, please review the compound medications video. Medication administration can be used when providing a medication dosage to a client either in clinic or at a home visit. The medication administration functionality will provide ongoing history of administered doses and assist in managing medication prescriptions. Administering medications is only available if the medication has been prescribed. This functionality is also restricted to certain user roles, primarily nurses, nurse practitioners, and physicians. For more information regarding your ability to administer a medication, contact your site manager. To administer a medication, you will find it under the Medications tab. By right-clicking on the prescribed medication, you have the option to administer medication. Enter the medication lot number. The administered date and time will automatically populate, as well the clinic which the medication was administered in. You must choose a medication site. Medication route. Identify if there was a reaction. In this case, we'll say well tolerated. Inputting the dose. Any additional notes. And we also have the ability to populate the next dose due if applicable. The system will automatically input the administered by according to the user that entered the information. It is very important that the person who administered the medication is the person who's inputting this, as it will pre-populate to that user's account. Completed, select OK. And by scrolling down, we can now see that the administered medication is in the chart. As additional doses are provided, a running history is visible within the table. Medication administration can be used when providing a medication dosage to a client.
I hope you have found this module on the
Akiro
medication management
medication
helpful.
administration functionality
For further
will
questions or
provide ongoing history
clarifications,
of
please
administered
contact
doses and assist in
CSIS_support
managing
at
medication prescriptions.
wrha.mb.ca.
Administering medications is only available if the medication has been prescribed